Hey, had all kind of thing planned for this episode and I done plan out all kind of topics. And listen, I promise you we will get to everything we had to talk about today. But it's just one of them days in the country when you get up with that kind of news on a Monday morning and we had to deal with first things first. Let me deal with first things first now. I don't know if you just pray, if you just meditate, if the universe, I don't know if you believe in God, whatever you believe in. But now is a good time to do whatever you just do for the Burke family. You know what I mean? Let me do it together now.
Glory be to the Most High God, hallowed be thy name. King of kings and Lord of lords, worthy to be praised. I ascribe to you dominion, power and grace. For all the years and years to come, you'll always be the same. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Don't wanna be carried away. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Preserve my soul today.
Hey, with everything else that going on, that is not no easy thing. All of us see the news, right? We're talking about a fire that claimed the lives of young Ezekiel, 17-year-old Kate, 6 years old Kate and Burke, 3 years old, and a family being split apart, like ripped down the middle with that kind of thing. And I mean, it shake everybody this morning. It shake everybody. Like this ain't gonna be no normal week. So I just call on everybody to keep them in thought.
It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today.
Keep them in your prayers.
Help me, God, I pray. Don't wanna be carried away.
Plenty fathers listening to this, you know, that unimaginable. And I ain't talking fathers alone, brother, sister, whole family torn apart by that one. In the most tragic of circumstances, you know what I mean? It's just one of them times, boy, and it's heavy. And I ain't coming to heavy up the day. That done heavy up the thing, so I ain't going to heavy it up more. But what I really like, the silver lining, boy, it's so far hard to find a silver lining because up to the time I'm recording this, we have no news on what happened with the father who would have tried to save his. Like, I see a little clip of the video. It took me long to watch it, you know. I couldn't even watch all them videos. I just had to see what it is and read it. And I saw a clip of them holding him back from running into the house. And any father who listening to that would have feel that pain that that man feel in that moment. And any one of us would have do the same thing and run back in the house. And people would have hold you. With your children, boy. People are holy. That's not no easy thing. So, and we up to the time I'm reading this, they still say he I guess smoke inhalation or burns. I'm not sure what it is. And he was in hospital up to the time I'm recording this. So all our prayers are with him collectively, all of us together, right? For them and their family through a hard time, a impossibly hard time. You know what I mean? So let's just take in some of Luciano now. We could get to the rest of the thing after.
Oh, Most High God. Say glory be to the Most High God, hallowed be thy name. The King of kings and Lord of lords, worthy to be praised. I'll ascribe to you dominion, power and grace. For all the years and years to come, and for our race. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Don't wanna be carried away. It's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees today. Help me, God, I pray. Preserve my soul.
Yeah, so our prayers are going out to the Burke family again. Is tragedy beyond belief, incomprehensible what they would be going through today. And I mean, God alone or whoever else you believe in could help people through a time like this, and all our prayers and thoughts are with you. So welcome to episode 60 of the Corey Shepherd podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And although we have a rough time like that and a rough start to the week, I want to salute very early and find the silver lining in the story, because it make me, as tragic as it is, I feel somewhere in my heart, I feel proud to be a Trinidadian when I see that news, you know, because beyond how tragic it is, and you know, the reality about life is when them things happen, what you gonna do? It's not going back in time. It's not no reset button, you know. So you have to hold on to your loved ones, you know. Hold on to your children, your parents. You know what I mean? Your wife, your husband. You hold on to them. You don't know. You just don't know. And this story is a real reminder. That family, right? But it's a reminder to all our families to just hold on to one another, boy. Hold on to one another. You just never know. The minute they say, you don't know. But in the midst of all that tragedy, I see something that make me feel proud. Because I see people scaling RBC wall, forget all the bank business they come to do. People doubles man, they say, run down any place and try their best. They are a little hoes, they say they try to, boy, listen. That is who we are. I kind of want us to remember those things outside of tragedy too. We don't need to wait till tragedy to stick together and forget all kind of boundaries of race and class and creed and you know what I mean, money or whatsoever the things are. We had to figure out ways to unite like that, regardless of what the situation is that we're facing. And situations like those show you that we're better than that. Nobody didn't care what is the race or background or what school the people went to was in the house. Everybody just running to help. Actually, it's perfect strangers who holding them back from running in the house when they realize nothing more can be done. I want to salute to the chief fire officer, I think it's Mr. Bristow, for coming out there and making a statement. That could not be easy, because salute to all the fire officers who rushed to the scene. I mean, Mr. Bristow referred to the doubles man and the people in the bank and neighbors and everybody as the first responders. That was heartwarming to see. As bad as his story and them is heroes to me. And the fire service came on the scene, and them, listen, you could see in the little clips that the firemen trying their best to salvage what is already a terrible and tragic situation. So I want to salute to them, and that's my silver lining there, because it's so easy for us to come together and forget everything else. Everything else gets small and insignificant in that moment, and we could run and do everything to save a perfect stranger. I just want us to collectively do that outside of times of tragedy. You could do that too. You gotta wait for nothing to happen for us to act that way. So salute to all the fire officers, the doubles man, all the first responders, as Mr. Bristow referred to them. And again, for the last time, probably not for the last time, but all our prayers to the Burke family. Not easy. All right. It have no way to transition out of that, right? So we're just getting to the vaccine thing, right? We get into the vaccine thing. I am now fully vaccinated. Let me give myself a salute. I am fully vaccinated. Let me don't say that. The woman tell me don't say that. I got the second dose of the vaccine Friday. And apparently it takes 2 weeks for the thing to kick in. I really forget about that. I remember they used to talk about that in the earlies, but I forget that clean. So I have 2 weeks again to be fully vaccinated. But I hear people warn me and tell me that the first dose, he wasn't feeling nothing. And so said so that I didn't feel nothing with the first dose at all. Meaning, I didn't feel the injection and I didn't feel sick, no after effects or no symptoms or nothing like that. But boy, like the second one come for me, because the second one, like the needle was a little bigger. Either that or the hole closed up. But boy, pain. It took me everything. It's only shame. I want to ball out again. And then I was good up to Friday. I take it Friday. I was good. But Saturday was my mother's birthday, right? Salute to my mother. Just like all this podcast in the 60s, mother in her 60s too. She fully vaccinated too, right? You know what I mean? But her birthday was Saturday, so I go on there and lie, and I really in the euphoria of birthday and everybody vaccinated. I drank a lot of white oak. She had a big plastic bottle of white oak, you know, the plastic bottle. And I think I overindulged. So I just want to tell anybody who getting this Sinopharm vaccine or Sinopharm or whatever you call it. If you plan to drink, don't drink white oak. Maybe don't drink at all. But if you do drink, white oak and that Sinopharm don't make it. It's a few things that white oak can't chase with, you know, but Sinopharm is one. Don't do that. Because by the time I reach home the Saturday night, I start to get a headache. Boy, listen. I started to see dark. I said, but this is real pressure, that headache, real tension headache. Everywhere hurt in my neck, everybody. By the time I wake up now, like my energy low. So I'm still going through a period here where I have either very high energy or very, very low energy. So I started to record this now that I'm feeling a little high energy period. So I want to get through to the end of this. If you realize the podcast is only about 20 minutes today, it's because the energy run out. Just blame it on the Sinopharm. But I'm fully vaccinated. I'm feeling good about that. I'm happy that I have some kind of protection against this dreaded COVID. And we hear more and more now about Delta variants. I hear the CMO say, boy, it's a matter of time. I think so too. So I, with my family, decide that, listen, all the fears we have with vaccine, what they call it now, vaccine hesitation, if it's one thing COVID brings real new terms in. Flattening curve, vaccine hesitation, all kind of thing we never used to say before that everybody know everything about now. But we was hesitant and we was worried and we was frightened. But boy, when you hear more variants and all them thing, and I and all, you know my position on the place closing up and all that, we want to see the place open back up. So we vaccinated. So I could guard rollers or polymer weeks. That is a great step forward for me. Anybody who need me on the security detail, I inside. So polymer weeks basically come out. Well, she was the one who came out first. She say, I don't want nobody in my security detail because I seen my mother, if you're not vaccinated, don't come wrong. And it had me confused. I will get to the pro-vaxxers and anti-vaxxers in a little while, but it had me confused because everything I saw, and I want to make a distinction here today, to stop saying the word research, right? I see there's a thread going around Facebook and the social media thing talking about how all of a sudden experts can't say what they have to say because nobody wants to be offended. Everybody wants to have their opinion and entitled to the same level of opinion. And I want to say that all opinions are not the same. They have experts and they have non-experts. So I cannot, because you have an opposing view, take you on. If my doctor tell me, bam, 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 I roll in with that. I not rolling with nobody on Facebook who do quote-unquote research. I can't listen to you. So I want to debunk that idea and word research one time because coincidentally, one of the companies we have is do research. We do market research, not medical research. Huh? So in doing market research for the last 10 years or was it 15 years? Let me putting all the, we started in 2005. So this is 16 years of thing. I go and call myself an expert, which I never like doing. I go and call myself an expert. When it comes to research, I know what I'm doing. And I want to tell people, pro-vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, stop saying the word research. What you're doing is not no research. You look things up. Googling things is not research. So I don't know where people get this idea that based on my research, hey, you didn't do no research. You look up a few things. So I'm nothing wrong with that. If you look up a few things that is making you feel more comfortable, by all means, because one thing I like about my doctor, Darius White, the greatest doctor I have in Trinidad, when Dr. White gave a diagnosis, he's going to pull a old book from somewhere, old dusty book or something, you know what I mean? Bookworm and thing, and he threw half the word in it. And he come and he show me, he said, this is your tibula, your fibula, and your ribula, right? So this is why I feel a pain in your fibula. And he show me, and now, I don't feel, I guess it's give me a next level of confidence when he talk to me and he explain it. Or he might tell me, listen, go on Google so and check it out, and you know what I mean? See if you understand what I'm telling you and them kind of things. I appreciate that because that make me feel a different sense of comfort. So I understand people who look things up on Google and look things up online and they find out. I could understand why they're giving you a sense of comfort. But I just want you to keep in mind that Google and YouTube in particular and all the social media places that you looking stuff up on, they are predisposed to showing you things that you already believe in. Let me keep that in mind, right? So pro-vaxxers are going to find more pro-vaccine things and anti-vaxxers going to find more anti-vaccine things. It's pretty simple. You know, you could go and look that up too and see if what I saying is true, right? So don't dig your heels in too deep on your opinion about things because your opinion uninformed, unless you're a medical professional, your opinion is uninformed. I can understand, yes, you're going based on medical professionals, but both sides going based on medical professionals and things. So when I just look things up, I cannot do medical research. That is above my pay grade. I can't do no medical research. I don't have the time to do it and I don't have the capacity to do it. I wouldn't understand if I try. But from the little things I look up, I'm not seeing anything saying that somebody who vaccinated is less likely to spread the virus either. So, but I mean, I guess in your mind, if it's making you feel safer, polymer weeks, I understand you tell people don't come wrong here and thing, and you have to keep your mother safe. I'll salute to you for that. Rollers, well, I don't want to say he just jump up and say, because he was asked a question, and he said the same thing. He said, well, boy, he tell people in his security detail who ain't vaccinated, don't come wrong neither. Stay away. Stay away from me and mine. But I just find it funny. I mean, it's funny, yeah, but it's funny. When Dr. Rowley had COVID, I just want to ask, did he have security? Like, was security working? I understand he probably not going to expose them to it. And he said he was quarantining in Tobago and all them kind of thing. But the men who was sticking by your side, outside your house or wheresoever as security detail, when you had COVID, this is the same men you chasing away, telling them if they're unvaccinated. They'll say, all right, okay, I don't want nobody unvaccinated or wrong. Okay. I think it's just another way, like what we were talking about last week, to make people take the vaccine. I still don't think that coercion is the best way to get people to take the vaccine. I see already that is the way the world going, and people are going to be forced to take the vaccine whether they like it or not. And as I said before, is the borders, is international travel will be one. Your jobs and private sector is done one. Public sector, if public sector say you have to be vaccinated, well, in the States, vaccine card done selling already, So, Trinidad quick too, man, go make vaccine card, because these little vaccine cards they're making, them thing ain't hard to copy, We could make that, in any home office. So that likely to happen. You'll create a little black market for it, but there definitely seems to be the drive to force people, to make sure, let me not say force, but to make sure that you take the vaccine, and to make sure that you're penalized if you don't take the vaccine, because of the idea that vaccinate and operate. The more of us that vaccinated, the better. I believe that to be true. I believe the only way out of this is for all of us to get vaccinated. That is my belief. You know what I mean? Because, and I think I talked about this last week too, where yellow fever, all kind of different things. When you used to walk down from Newtown Boys and walk down Marval Road and walk on that main road, they had a health office. I think it's Health Net or one of them take over that place now. But we used to walk down the whole school and them getting the injection there. I'm sure my parents know I was getting injection for, but I didn't know. And I turned out, well, I don't want to say I turned out fine, because I have enough issues that I could blame on a vaccine. No. And I just want you to know from now, anything happen, I blame in the vaccine. Sorry to say, but any little mistake I make home, thing I do in work, I ain't submit something on time, is the vaccine. Going forward for the rest of my life, is the vaccine, is Sinopharm fault. But that's where we are. And then you have this, we're just talking about united and coming together for a cause, and the vaccine seems to be one of the most divisive things that I have. You can't discuss it again with anybody. I will only talk about it on this podcast, because there's a time when I say this, and some time in between where I could respond to anybody who called to tell me they like what I say, or I was talking nonsense or whatever. That's good. I like that. And I could talk to people one at a time who are reasonable and could debate. And I always open to change my mind. Anything you find I say on this podcast and you call me and tell me it's wrong, I probably go and tell you, yeah, I was wrong about that. I'm not really fixed in too many opinions. But boy, the pro-vaccine and the anti-vaccine people very, very fixed in their opinion. And again, this is where the idea of forcing people to take a vaccine is a tricky one. It must get problematic, because the conspiracy theorists looking for more conspiracies. So for the longest while, the conspiracy people saying they have a plot and they're going to force all of us to get vaccinated and we're going to stand up for ourselves and all that has been going around for a long time. The issue clearly getting politicized in Trinidad, and one of the big issues, like I see, I always talk about Nissa Peer from Peer Consulting. She's a PR person or communication specialist. Let me just say PR person, but she has been posting for the longest while saying, listen, what we need is a proper campaign. We need to communicate to people what are the benefits, what are the downfalls, what are the drops. You have to be open about it. If you don't do that and you're just forcing people to do it, you're gonna make people more worried or more convinced that it have some kind of juju in the serum. You know what I mean? People keep going down that road. So outside of that campaign, the loudest voice I hear in an anti-vaccine, well, I don't want to say the loudest voice in anti-vaccine, one of the loudest voices in the country generally is Philip Alexander. I'm not going to play what Philip Alexander said. I struggle to understand how Philip Alexander has this huge following of people that agree with. Boy, listen, when he posts something on social media, I see MYOB or News Before the News or one of these news blogs show his thing about Terrence and what Terrence to do with retail and all them things. I mean, he's so disrespectful, but a lot of the comments is agreeing with Philip Alexander. There's what I tell you, there's one man who does talk the truth. He does never hide the truth from you. And so this man is basically going around telling people or using his social media to tell people that businesses suffering, Terrence the Alsing and Rowley and them don't know what they're doing. and the vaccine, don't go and take no vaccine. Nobody ain't taking that vaccine, and we don't want no Sinopharm. We want proper vaccine. Not all vaccine is equal, and we say for Sinopharm is piss water. But listen, Philip Alexander is a man hard to listen to, you know. But he have a huge following. So the point I'm making is this. If it is, there's no sober voice explaining to people, listen, the vaccine have its upside, it have its downside. Taking your chances with COVID have a downside and might have an upside. This is the thing. This is why we want people to get vaccinated. This is what will happen. This is the process. This is what goes into it. This is why we're using Sinopharm. Because strange enough, I remember when AstraZeneca was here, I remember a staff member telling me this because we are frontline workers. So I sent out a thing telling everybody, listen, you could go and get the vaccine, we could put you on a list. And that girl tell me, well, what vaccine we getting? I ain't so sure about this AstraZeneca and this. I don't know if she take it up to today because I'm not going and put nothing in place saying that people fired if they ain't thing and you can't get back your work or you can't come and work by week enough. I'm not doing that. But now this week news come out saying that AstraZeneca is the best one to deal with the Delta variant. You know what I mean? So these things will change. I strongly believe that this last shot I get here ain't gonna be the last shot that I get in because they probably have more vaccines to come, whether it's booster shot or whatsoever they call it thing. We probably go back there as well. So I don't want to make a parallel with this story because I mean the opening story that we talk about with the Burke family is such a sad one. But this is what I mean when I say I don't want us to wait for tragedy to start coming together and uniting and seeing each other's points of view and working towards one thing. One thing I'm sure about, pro-vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, including Philip Alexander, what all they're doing is not research. All they checking out things, reading up, looking up things, Googling, browsing. Yeah, I mean, half the people who study the research, they don't even read the whole article they download. Them just look for something that say, or they watch a thing on YouTube and whoever talk the nicest and the background nice and they have a nice little camera and if you're in 1080p, you're singing better than somebody who with standard definition. That's how it go. But one thing I could tell you is that let us stop walking away with this idea that people who pro-vaccination mad and they stupid and they thing and they sheep and they think controlling them and all these kind of thing. And let us also stop with this thing where and people who don't want the vaccine or anti-vaxxers, they wicked and they thing and they just anti this and they stupid and nobody is stupid. Nobody is stupid. Let me throw that idea. It's a better place to start where you're going to talk to somebody rather than you're going with your opinion and regardless of what happened, your opinion is going to stay the same. You're going to discuss with somebody, you know, but your opinion entrenched. So you're going there to convince them of something. I think it's time that we listen. It's such a strange concept. Listen, understand where people are coming from, understand what are the issues they're facing, and then you could respond to them. And I think it's the best way to go with this thing. I prefer the idea of taking the vaccine for myself. I would love for everybody to take the vaccine. But when somebody tell me they don't want to take the vaccine because of this, that, and the third, like the girl told me, she ain't sure what AstraZeneca, she feels she waiting for Pfizer. I might be like, so what if we never get Pfizer? You know, I'm worried about, you know what I mean? You have any other conditions, this, that. We could discuss it and understand where their fears are. And I feel it's part of, we skip that step in this country where we sensitize people to what it is, understand, you know what I mean? Put out our own messages and our own voices because, again, I don't think it's ever wise for the loudest and most frequent voice that communicates information to be Philip Alexander on any topic, really. Unless he's just talking about himself. He's probably an expert on that, but he shouldn't be the one who having the loudest voice. We should really put it together. Yes, you're telling people every week take the vaccine, but look how long them press conference going on. People can't watch that no more. They can't take what. I mean, how much longer you could take that? I also just want to say rest in peace to the boss, the legend himself from Delinada and Anil Sugrim, who passed away last week too. And it's the same thing, you know what I mean? The same thing that happened with him. You're seeing over and over where the reports are that he died suddenly and then people gone back now to show his Facebook that say, no, take the vaccine and that's why, and I'm trying to like church people. What happened to when is your time, and when God call, nobody can refuse the call, and nobody knows the hour or the minute. We don't believe in that no more. Now is the vaccine. His time wasn't ordained. It wasn't meant to be this way. It's the strangest thing I see. So all I said on this topic is really, listen, stop thinking that what you're doing is research. It's not research. What you're doing is looking stuff up. Because I have a research company. I do that for a living. What we doing here with vaccine and thing, we don't have the time to research no vaccine and thing. We're looking for information based on other people who have researched, and we read up a little bit, mostly to reinforce our opinion, and we go with that. But I'm appealing to the powers that be, the people in charge, to put out more messages about the vaccine, put out more things that could help people understand exactly what they're getting into or the things that they're avoiding. And funny enough, almost as soon as I started to make that call, I come and I see something like this. Somebody went and find the water lord and savior, Mr. Neil Iowa George.
Get your vaccine.
Yes?
Well. Since I was pitching marbles, the place was good. I went and did some doubles, the place was good. I went by the beach
And I wash my wood.
It was a paradise. But when COVID touched down that day,
Yes?
and I see the cases start to raise, I tell you, if you don't get vaccinated, it's trouble for the place to be good again. For the place to be good again.
Yes?
For the place to be good again. No more lockdown in Port of Spain.
Yes?
For
For the place to be good again.
Right. So we could mash it up, shell it down and turn it over.
Yes.
So we could mash it up, shell it down and turn it over.
Yeah?
Most of the business. And
Yeah.
this is the message from the North Central Regional Health Authority.
All right, I will get a check. When they refuse checks in the streets. So almost exactly. We had to get some more people to sing some song. We had to line up something. Honestly. Because the people going to be rushing to get vaccines now. Coincidentally too, I forgot to say that when I went Friday to get the vaccine, it had plenty more people there than when I get the first dose. So I don't know if it is they hear the Iowa and they went down there in droves. But this is what we need. Like, so much people have their little vaccine song. And my boy Bert was singing my song from Ching Ching. Vaccine, come for your vaccine. Vaccine, come for your vaccine. You know what I mean? You need artists and things. You need people who could help you transmit a message as stupid as that might sound. And we understand that if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably not the average person. We like to think that we are the people, you know, but we are not the people. I just want to let you know that, right? You are not in the majority. All the high degree and all these kind of different things, and your LLB and all kind of different kind of degree, and you're listening to this, you are not the people, my friend. You are in the minority. Once you do a degree, you're in the minority already. If you do a master's and them kind of thing and PhD, well, you're in a small group of people. So the masses is who we need to get vaccinated. So you have to talk to the masses in the language of the masses. And that's what Philip Alexander know how to do. But he can't do it better than Iowa. You understand? I wonder if you could just bathe people with vaccine. That's food for thought. There must have a way that Iowa himself could vaccinate people or something. We had to work out. I'm going to make this happen. Who you say you do that for? NWRH or someone of them? I'm going to reach out to them. We go work out something. I can tell you. If they get Iowa in the place. This is what we need. We need more of that. People who could relate to the ground so that people start understanding. Because I can guarantee you that what you're seeing on Facebook, again, if you are well lettered and so on behind your name and you know these nice cushy jobs and so on, the people on your Facebook in the same group as you. So if you feel that debate at that level is where the vaccine debate happening, I want to tell you you're wrong. The vaccine debate is happening with the majority. It's happening on the ground where people believe it's conspiracy, is this, nothing can happen to them fetting and thing like normal, they're young, they're home right through, they're going to get vaccine for the government setting we up microchip, and then religion, and we don't want a thing, and we ain't putting nothing. That is where it's happening, you know. So this idea that we will get 70% of the population vaccinated, I just want to always keep in mind that 70% of the population is not made up of these podcast listeners and their high degree and high talk and reasoning and all these nice kind of things, right? So we had to find people who could put the message across to us in a way that makes sense to the people who we really need to get vaccinated if we had to get to the point of mass vaccination. And it's especially scary for me when the vaccines have an expiry date and we had 800,000 of them land the other day, and the people in charge saying that the uptake not good enough. You know what I mean? Not enough people coming for the vaccine. That's a little bit of a worry, because if those things expire again, we faced with a higher cost to get them in. We're not sure if we'll get them in. And I just want to let you know, I can't play that Philip Alexander clip, right? It's just too low. It's lower than the white line. It's crass. But one of the things he telling people is that the government running a vaccine racket, and they're thieving all the vaccine money. That is why they're trying to get so much people to. I don't know what's the reasoning behind that, but I just want you to appreciate that while you might listen to that and be able to break down the reasoning and things, there's a group of people who will also listen to that and say, yeah, they're against you. You don't like them government. You understand? So the vaccine thing gets to be a political football now, as with so many other things in Trinidad. So just keep them things in mind. And I'm glad for the RHA that get the boss, the water lord himself. If I were to tell you do something, more people go do it. It's proven. When I was say move, you have to move. So that definitely gonna get more people vaccinated. But I just throwing this out there, right? I know you don't like when I talk about this too much, but if Iowa could get a check, would somebody please check Swan down? Would somebody go and please check Boy? Go and check. You know what I mean? Go and check these people. Like check Toppy. Check this squad. Who those people is listen to? Because again, I just want you to understand who's the demographic that is listening to Iowa and who see Iowa as a water lord and all them things. Just understand who that is. And if you really want to talk to the ground and things, somebody please go and give Superstar Riri a check to endorse the vaccine, and Nadia Funrose and Prees. Somebody, I feel it's a better campaign because they have attracted a lot of attention over the last week. I just want to say a round of applause to Superstar Stacey. I mean, that was for Superstar Stacey. But the Riris and the Fun Roses of this world have been attracting a lot of attention, and the Angel Cumberbatch of this world attracting a lot of attention. You might want to, if we're serious about getting mass people vaccinated, I would think that these are the kind of people you have to get. Imagine, right? Stay with me here. Imagine if they put, I ain't calling no names, but they put people in the Hyatt. And it said, well, you're taking shots in the Hyatt, and your shots you're taking. So instead of watching them take those kind of shots in the Hyatt, if you let them take the vaccine in the Hyatt, people go watch the video. Anything that drop with two of them right now gonna be the most watched video in the history of videos in the country. So if you start it up the same way in the Hyatt room and you lie down and the thing, and I know what kind of lingerie is this now? The titties done to come. Titties is outside. I don't have I'm accustomed to them thing. I start to get warm. Let me calm down, because it's a long time when they make lingerie, you start to take all the titties. Now the titties is outside already. I don't know. It's a good thing I born when I born this. I couldn't be young in these times, no. But you understand what I'm saying? If these is the celebrities that people are looking up to, that is the most talked about stories. And listen, our Superstar Riri is a genius. She's a genius. Because when the story blow up and thing, I watch it now. I waiting to see when the next video come. I mean, don't send me those types of videos. That's what I mean to say. I don't share those things. Those things is not right. I don't send none of them things to my phone. That's what I meant to say. But I was checking the Instagram and things come out. And I see she put up one time, like, check my business page. I'm selling tights. I'm selling one time, you know what I mean? She's a genius. That's what business is about. So she know to take that little viral moment, as much as people might have feel bad, people feel shame, whatever it might be. I can't, if things like that come out, you can imagine how you feel. But she decided I go and take that moment and sell some tights, yes? If you feel, you're going to like think 10,000 and 20,000 times and somebody go buy some tights from me, all you're wrong. So the girl make it work for herself. So that's what we have to do. If we're really serious about getting people vaccinated, is them you have to go and find to make campaigns. Them moving products in this country. They influencing opinions. That's who is called influencer. I mean, she influenced the hell out of me. All the down and feeling down with the vaccine, I get up. And then I see a next one going viral with Angel Cumberbatch. Like she get well, it was a squad of people who get arrested in a zest, what we accustomed seeing, right? But they blur out all the faces, and one girl was pregnant, and people went off on that, but you're pregnant and you're affecting and all kind of thing. And turns out that one of the people is Angel Cumberbatch. Now, I know the age group listening to this, you have no idea who Angel Cumberbatch is, right? So go and look it up. I'll give you a minute pause. I'm going to look up Angel Cumberbatch. She's one of the most influential young women on the internet right now. But it really didn't look like her. When I see the picture and I talking to Stacey said, no, that is her. You're accustomed to, with filters and them kind of thing. No, I just want to be clear that all these people that I follow, the Nadia Funrose and Angel Cumberbatch and Superstar Riri and everybody of that ilk who I don't know personally, I follow them for research purposes for this podcast to make sure that I'm always up to date on what is happening in the country so that when I come here, I'm informed. You know what I mean? I make sure that I'm in the game, so when I come here to talk about things, I know what I'm talking about, right? That is the reason I am following these people, Stacey. So, what I was talking about again, I get so nervous just now, like I forgot the hell I was saying. Oh, yeah. So she was, I mean, the way she's looked usually at Instagram was very different from what I see in that picture. But I'm not accustomed. The internet thing is something for me to get accustomed to because, number one, I feel everybody is my age. Until you see these people as young people in his early 20s and thing. I thinking everybody's 40, but you know what I mean? I looking like I'm a 20s still, you know what I mean? So I'm looking like my age. And then the other thing that I didn't get accustomed to as well. But before I go on to that, Angel Cumberbatch is another one who have so much influence over youths that she might be a good person to bring in on that campaign. Just remember that I was George not talking to that youngest demographic. I would think he would have done approach these social media influencers who have meaningful impact on young people and approach men like Akeem Salty, Voice, Penny, and Travis, who have thousands of people watching them every Thursday night and watching everything that they do every day of the week. If you're serious about starting a vaccine campaign, that is the people who I would think that we are 70%. Remember, that is the masses, right? That's who we are to get to come in. But I'm just not accustomed to this social media area where you're watching people online. I can't imagine having to be, you can imagine a young man and you're tracking and thing in these times where you're seeing people online and they're looking one way, then when they get arrested, it's a whole different person. You know what I mean? It's real tricky water. Like, how you navigating that? I wonder how these youths deal with that. You know what I mean? Because if I, long time is his house phone and thing, you open, if when a man tell you have a blind date, and his friend go bring a friend, you hoping for your best coming down all the way, because you don't see some old blurry Polaroid picture where you want to tell yourself in your mind the woman looking good or the girl looking good. When she come and see the kind of you ain't want no part of that. And you saw her like lime. So imagine now where you're seeing people looking with all this filter. But I guess youth men tracking with filters too. That's that thing. I know, but she looked totally different than how she looked. And the other thing I can't get accustomed to online, just as aside from that, is where people is luckier before you meet them. Like long time, if you, like I say, a blind date or a meeting or a interview or whatever it is, I seen that person for the first time when I reached there. But now people looking you up. So when you have a meeting with somebody, them don't check out your LinkedIn and check out your Facebook and Instagram and thing. Something for job seekers to think of too, right? Just saying that your employers probably checking out your socials to see what is happening. You know. To keep that in mind, because everything you do and say on socials will affect your ability to keep a job. I guarantee it to you. But it's just one of them strange things for me in this area. I remember going for an interview one time, and when I reached the place, the people there don't know. It's like, hey, Corey, yeah, I'll be waiting for you upstairs. That was surreal to me. I was like, wait, I met you somewhere. She's like, no, I saw your thing on LinkedIn. I know we know you're coming for the. So I was like, what is going on? So it's just a different time. And I think that the disconnect that I have from what happened where, what I'm trying to say, I so far and disconnected and far removed from what really happened to the internet. Because even in the way I talking about this, you could hear I lost. I think there's a even bigger divide with the people who are at the helm, the leaders, both government and opposition, where they're not understanding fully what is happening on the ground and with young people. And that's why they have a disconnect with the campaigns. I mean, I love the Iowa thing. I find they should do more of it with artists and things, but just understand that will appeal to a specific group. And if you really want to appeal to the masses, you probably had to start heading towards a different type of group who have that online influence that never you never see it on mainstream media. You wouldn't even know it happening. And you yourself go try to figure out why so much young people all of a sudden come in to get vaccine and thing and not understand what it is. So that is what with me and vaccines. I just want us to be more tolerant of one another. Number one, with the pro-vaccine and anti-vaccine. And if we firmly believe that the idea is to get more people vaccinated, let me change the approach. I don't think the approach is for the president and the prime minister to say, stay from me if you have a vaccine, don't come up in my face. I'm not sure that is the best approach. It's one of them weeks, So going back into the next one, I see. Now, I know all you see the article this week, they say a 41-year-old woman would kill her husband and she ended up in St. Anne's now, so we don't know what. At first, I was checking, I learned a little trick, so the people saying, them youths is check your socials and things. So I started to check socials now to see, what was going on with this woman and this man before. And you started to see a set of people saying the woman not like that and all, they don't know what she went through. And when you see them kind of situations with a woman and a man, I mean, not that I'm not condoning domestic violence in any direction, right? But sometimes your tendency is to think that is a woman who get fed up and she think, and I mean, the way it happened to where the police said they went there and they think and she let them know what is happening thing, that ain't something like somebody who two together. But what get me real frightened is when I decide to do just what I'm talking about and take a browse through the socials. Because if we check in socials, I check in socials, and listen, when you see that woman last set a post, I want to tell all the people, I ain't talking to man alone, right? I'm not encouraging nobody to check nobody else's phone and them kind of thing. If you're going people's phone, you're going to find something you don't like, and then your piece. Me ain't going in nobody's phone and look for nothing. I never do it, and I ain't doing it. If you want your handbag, I bring in the whole bag. You want your phone ringing, I say, Zachary, carry the phone for your mother. I don't want to know nothing. But when I look through the socials of this lady who is now committed to St. Anne's, I see some things that frighten me. Let me tell you the last of the post she had. Repent, for the hour is close at hand. Repent. Everything there are 3 exclamation mark. The next one is saying, God hears your anxious thoughts. Next one, you already have what you need. Now let God work. Next post, cut the negativity out of your life. Like the day before the incident happened. I'd have a post, all it's saying is choose. You think they get frightened, no hell? This is the day before too, same day before. The hour is near. Change your wicked, evil ways. Just Christ. I'm reading this and again, fright. And next one saying choose. That's glad. I am not afraid. These are the kind of posts this woman was posting the day before. So when I see that and I see the way that thing play out with the thing and you find the body and she holding the hand still, I'm not going to nobody's phone and thing, but I decide to go through people, what they post on social media, just to make sure that I'm safe in my own house. So I start by checking all the messages that Stacey, people just send a little meme and tag you on thing on Instagram. When you do them thing, I laughing, I find it funny, me studying that, I laughing and thing, but I start to look back through the thing now, just in case it have any little hidden message, because if she tag me in something, and the thing say, I'm not afraid, or she make a post like that, I would think she talking about standing up in this, the spirit, and she's not afraid, and she's a leader of the family. Me ain't gonna think it mean, my time is now. So I said, let me go back through. And you know what I find she sent me? And I study it now, but I have to take it serious, because when she sent me the thing, I laugh and think me I study it, but this is a definite sign of voice coming, and it's so said, so done. The last thing I see she sent me here, I may making this up. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing you what I'm watching in my phone from Stacey. The headline say, 6 things that kill the penis. So I'm going to go through the 6 things, right? But I just want to let you know before we go through this. I don't know if she's talking about what happened or what going on happen. Because in my opinion, I spent long work, I think I had a long stroke, I feel like the guy. But maybe there's a lot of sense of softness. But I don't know if his voice to come. So after this podcast, I'm going to have a discussion, because it's better we communicate. I don't want you to end up in no situation where, it's better we communicate and I ask if, if again, sometimes when you feel you're doing things, it's really a cheering gallery you have, people just cheering you on and it's like, enjoying this time people are taking you on at all. So I'm going to have a serious talk. But for the men who listening, And for the woman who interested, I want to tell Ole what she said, man. She says 6 things kill the penis. 1 is sugar. Sugar affects the body's testosterone production, making it tougher to get it up. Number 2, inadequate sleep. Sleep is essential for testosterone production. Number 3, alcohol. Alcohol lowers your testosterone levels. Number 4, running too much. I wonder if you mean running on your back. Running too much. 40 or more miles a week can drop your testosterone levels by 17% according to the University of British Columbia. Number 5, spending too much time indoors. Vitamin D production in the body is important in the production of testosterone. So if you want your D to be, you have to have vitamin D. It's simple, you know what I mean? Last but not least, soy. According to Harvard Medical School research, there's a direct correlation between soy consumption and boners. So and then after that, she put 2, 4, and 5. Now, me and really, when she sent me this, maybe no, I don't know. But this like, when I look up that woman thing, I realized she was sending direct messages to that man. So I gonna have a conversation when we done here to find out if it's direct messages or not. But the woman say 2, 4, and 5. I don't know if that mean again inadequate sleep. Running too much. Well, it can't be I running too much because like I run a little bit, but I can't run 40 miles I think I running 40 miles in a month, much less in a week. And what's the next one she says? 5. Spending too much time indoors. So like, wait, is this a signal that I could go on the outside? Is this permission? Is it a hall pass I'm getting? And I'm thinking vitamin D and I don't know. But I just taking this very seriously now. So I'm going to stop the sugar. I'm going to sleep early. I'm going to cut back on the alcohol, especially when I take a vaccine. I'm safe on the running. I'm pretty sure I'm safe there, and I will be going outside on a regular. And soy, well, I don't mean that. What do you mean, soy sauce? All right, no more Chinese food night. No MSG, no soy sauce. But I just advising people. Now, again, I put in my disclaimer. Don't be going to nobody's phone and checking nobody's thing. Just make sure, look into the messages that people is sending you. Look into the message that your wife sending you and understand if it's signal you're getting or is it signs of things to come or what is happening. But the whole message make me remember a song, man.
Willie dead, Willie dead.
Yes.
Willie dead, Willie dead, oh.
What?
Willie dead, Willie dead.
What?
Willie dead, Willie dead, oh.
Hey, wait. Let me put a disclaimer here because I now realize this song is kind of inappropriate, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a real man who passed away, and not this Willie Dead is not about the man, right? You're supposed to know what this song about. When you say Willie, there's Willie, right? So I'm not making joke light of no serious situation, right? But take it in.
Willie dead, Willie dead. Willie dead, Willie dead, oh.
Yes.
Willie dead, Willie dead. Willie dead, Willie dead, oh. Willie fall down dead. He can't raise his head.
It's for everybody over 40
Willie fall down dead.
or 30.
As they look at you, you used to threaten them.
Remember that?
Any chance you get, you used to flatten them.
You remember?
Now they talking for the space. You went terrible again.
No.
I tell them you just taking a rest.
Sometimes it's a rest.
What you lay down, they know for over a month.
Oh, Lord.
Seem like the more rest you get is the more you want. Them girls say you're born, you're bearing.
Yes.
And it's just excuse the hearing. Show them you have zest.
Slap me in my chest.
So many good times we had together.
Oh, God.
We made it through good and bad together.
Sing.
Wake up and don't be naive.
Oh, gosh.
I can't let you leave
Oh, Lord.
me to suffer. If you ever try to close one eye,
It's the both of we dying together. Yeah, go on.
Willie dead, Willie dead.
Willie dead, Willie dead, oh. Willie dead, Willie dead.
Willie dead, Willie dead, oh.
Willie fall down dead. He can't raise his head. We fall down dead. Take a verse again.
Many times you made they leave their clothes and run, promising never more to deal with you under the sun. Yes, it used to be a pleasure to see you apply the pressure and make all them champions moan and groan.
Remember them days, boy?
Just because you're taking a little time off,
We're on time off.
they change your name from Hardy Hard to Softy Soft. Some of them girls who should know better, calling you a toothless tiger, saying, change your tone, the jungle's no longer your own.
Oh, Lord.
So many good times we had together.
Oh, let's sing with Maya alone.
We made it through good and bad together. I'll give you any tonic.
Yes?
I'll even work black magic
Yes?
to give you more power.
Oh, Lord.
But if you think it's light and close one of your eyes,
It's the water we dying together. Stop saying, man. Willie dead, Willie dead. Willie dead, Willie dead. Oh. Willie dead, Willie dead. Willie dead, Willie dead. Oh. Willie fall down dead. He can't raise. He has something. Just play with it, you know. Listen, some joking jokes to make. This is serious matters. You cannot make it joking. What else happened this week, boy? We in the Olympics. The Olympics is off to a flying start. And talking about over 40 and thing, I want to say salute to Miss Chow. She is in the, I don't know where it's called this thing, right? It's rowing. That is all I know, right? I don't know a whole lot. I'll let it bear with me. I don't know nothing about the Olympics. I can't stay up there over the night. People tell me number 3 is you need to get more rest when the night coming out. So I find it impressive because I was watching really clips and highlights where we had, the early ones, the athletics and things start yet. So I see Phyllis Chow, she in the racing. I see in the heat, she come in good, she blow out some people and thing. And she didn't really make it in the end. But I want to salute her anyway. Because I think once you're an Olympic athlete, you make it. Olympics that hard to get to that point where you could represent your country. And anybody willing to make that kind of sacrifice, financial, physical and all that, that is an accomplishment on its own. But I just want to, in the light of what we're talking about with Sparrow, at 40, a man closing their eye and thing, you know what I mean? At 44, to go in the Olympics and compete, that is impressive, boy. How much of us have that level of fitness at 44? And if you have that level of fitness at 44 and you're running over 40 miles a week, watch yourself, you know what I mean? If you ain't reach, you're reaching, you're heading there, you know what I mean? According to Stacey Shepard, Babby's on the way. So you could be in some trouble. But I want to salute to her. Before we even get into how we doing at the games, the Olympic opening, I find like, I don't say I didn't like the, I don't like how the uniforms was looking. I find we track, so everything looking a little basic. It looking like a long time 90s Puma suit you buy, you know what I mean? I don't like it. But what happened to the little, we don't know a little swag when we doing the opening ceremony no more? When you see how Ghana come out and thing, you know what I mean? There's some countries who come out looking a kind of way. A long time we used to do a blazer and stuff. We stopped doing that, or what we doing? We just coming out in we tracksuit like if we getting ready for an event one time. And I know other countries did it too, but I find we had too much talented people here to be doing that, you know what I mean? So we can get Anya, like we couldn't get somebody. Claudia Pigas here, Anya and them. There's so many designers here and probably hundreds of young designers coming up. Who could have give you a little look for the beginning of the Olympics? Boy, I mean, I ain't understanding how we just leave it to the sweatsuits. We couldn't swag it out and make it look good. But anyway, we did, and we have a boxer who went up. Aaron Prince, salute to you. You didn't really make it past the rungs and thing, but you do good. You went up there and you represent your country. And last, let me not laugh. I want to call the names and things like that. I wonder if I remember last time we sent a boxer some Olympics ago. It's he Sparrow saying about it because that man drop asleep in the ring, that man drop asleep out cold. So my boy Prince, you do better than him and you represent, and we have more to come. We had the athletics and things to come. I hear Ato saying we ain't had too much a chance, but we here for it. And the Olympics, somehow for me, it still have a sheen on it. You know what I mean? It still have its luster because I guess other than World Cup football where the moment is get fed up of you saying no watching football game whole day with a set aside you ain't know nothing about who, you know what I mean? Them never hear about these players and the game slow and tactical and all that. The Olympics, could we could sit down and watch as a family? We just sit down the other night and pick two swimmers. We watching the swimming, and whoever swimming, we decide who we back in and we watch that, and who you know what I mean? We watching how the women swimming, how the fellas and them. So I feel she was watching the fellas all day, especially since Willie dead, you know what I mean? Now I understand why she was watching the swimmers so hard. But it's like a nice family vibe where football might bring that. So the Olympics had to be a much more viewed event than the World Cup, I would think. And one of the things you realize is that in this Olympics in particular, I see people complaining online. They say chess was supposed to be in the Olympics. I never understood fencing. You remember that with the little like a tin sword and they stick in one another. And I mean, they used to do that a long time. I don't know if they have that still. Karate, taekwondo, all that in the Olympics. I see a man say, there's one man doing skateboarding and thing. But apparently you could apply to any sport that you come up with or that people play could be applied, and once it go past the IOC, you're in the Olympics. So I don't understand why we should be applying to put more things, because if chess could get in, why we can't get in like all fours and wappy and a little romy? If it's a romy in the Olympics, I feel like in that, you know, I feel like I could get a medal there. But it's like we could try to see how much other people in the world is play the games that we play. And things that we could compete at, because not saying, I mean, the 100 we have a goal, we have medals in, I think we have medals in all of them, 100, 200, 400, we have medals all over, 800 hurdles and all that. But we need something that we could medal consistently, because I watching the swimming the other night, and I mean I enjoy it and thing, but I ain't like how every set of swimmers they send, you still ain't seeing a Trinidad, so I don't like that. I find we should be sending hundreds of people, a big squad in the Olympics. And looking the part, man, you know what I mean? Competing everything, I ain't care. So if we make up our own games, we should be good, but also have games where we at least were good at some point. Because I was going to say better we go with moral and rounders and hopscotch and them kind of thing, but we don't even play that no more, so we might lose there. But netball, we still have a decent netball team and thing. They say netball was considered for this Olympics, but like we didn't make it because they say it's only Commonwealth countries playing that. And I'm trying to think to myself, but and maybe I just think it's small because I ain't Trinidadians, but so many of them sports universal, like fencing. People just do that all over the world. Them things so weird as sports, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they, across the board, you could find so much people in different countries that universally doing fencing. Who could afford that white suit and this black? Nobody ain't doing that. So it's like, why you can't play netball? I was looking up cricket to see if we had cricket. I mean, I was saying that, but if we had cricket and we could have sent Pollard and Bravo and them, I was thinking about West Indies for a minute, but if you could have sent our Trinidad team, who's win out CPL every time. But I saw that they said cricket was actually in the Olympics before. It was in the Olympics in 1900 Olympics, and of course England win it that time. But it never came back, and I guess it's the same kind of reason, like it's too few countries play cricket, but I find like we had to bring it back, man. We had to get something that we seriously, not just competing in, but we had to find a sport to push in the Olympics where we is the side to beat, you know what I mean? We had to get on top of some people, man, and advantage some people, I find. But I will continue to take in the Olympics. I just like, it's a vibe. I forget how much of a vibe the Olympics is to just watch whatever. I don't like how it's showing late in the night and it's apparently affecting my performance. But I'm taking in more, man. I ain't sure if only enjoying the Olympics or only taking it in. I'm surprised at this age I could still sit down and watch all that. And then athletics should be, if not this week, next week. By the time you listen to this, we might start to see some athletics too, which will be good to watch. And I want to see how I cash on down for going for our next goal. But let's see what we pick up on the track too. We might pick up some things. You never know. I hear Richard Thompson over there took a lucky gold medal. They win him a gold medal. So salute to Richard Thompson. They say the most decorated Olympian we ever had. So let me see what the track and field bring down. We'll check back in on that. You know what I mean? There's the vaccine. That's why I stumbling over words. The vaccine not hacking up. Now, sorry to go back to vaccine again, but actually while I'm recording this, I see something come up here that might answer one of my questions. This is from the Express by Kimberly Wallace. Kimberly Wallace, right? I'm not going to attempt to read this because it ain't going to make me a laughing stock here, because it could be mayhem if I try to read this article here. It's about the COVID-19 vaccine, and it's about a UTT seminar saying COVID-19 vaccination, hype or hope. And the person who's speaking here, who I'm going to be quoting from, is Dr. Nicole Ramlachan, and she's a geneticist, right? So again, my default, and probably yours too if you're listening to this, is that if somebody's an expert, you're probably going to listen to what they have to say, understanding that you're not going to be able to do, you're looking up something, you're researching, you can't do the kind of research that she would have been able to do. But she actually answered one of my questions in here, and she said a lot of the same things. Go in the Express and look for this article. The headline of the article is misinformation, which is a good headline, given everything that we spoke about. She said the mutational ability of the virus becomes greater if the higher percentage of the population is unvaccinated because they act as hosts for the virus to infect, replicate, and mutate. There's a much slimmer chance of the virus mutating among the vaccinated populations. The real risk is among the unvaccinated populations. So that puts that to bed for me, because that is something I think I would say it earlier in this episode too. I wasn't understanding the idea of the vaccinated, how they say the unvaccinated is a threat to the vaccinated. So I want to take whatever I say about Rowlands and Paula May are taking that back. Right? They have a right not to have no unvaccinated people around them, because it essentially putting them at higher risk. But this is exactly what I mean. So information, maybe we should get Iowa to sing what she just say, or Swanee, or one of them youths to put it out there, so that it's received differently. Not everybody going to be able to read the article and relate to it and understand. And if you leave men like Alexander and then Philip Alexander, that is, to paint their own narrative, we're going to have a problem. Anyhow, this episode generally is a little bit of a somber one, and I promise you we ended on a higher note. But the last thing that we're going to talk about in serious news here is that verdict with Sean Luke last week, where you saw both Akil Mitchell and Richard Chatu basically convicted. What is called that? They sentenced, or they found guilty for murder, and they had to deal with the sentencing after. And I just want to say one thing about this. I mean, I'm glad it's done, but you would remember when that Sean Luke thing happened. Don't bother to figure out the year and thing. Just try to put yourself back in the places as to where you were in life when you heard that Sean Luke story. Like, what stage at your life you was. And you will realize how much time passed without even counting a year. Like, that is way too much time for a case to be complete. I know they have all kind of issues there, and anybody who in the legal field might have good reasons why this is. But we had to change this, because the idea that justice delayed is justice denied is a real one for everybody involved. And I want to be careful about talking about this, right? Because I don't want to minimize or I don't want to distract from who is the victim in this situation, or minimize what the perpetrators did. But I think our definition of a victim as a society, our definition of a victim is too narrow. Because these two youths at the time were underage as well. Not excusing anything that they did, right? But what these youths need is help. No, I don't say need, but needed at the time is help. When you listen to how gruesome that was and what they went through and stuff, this is not normal behavior that you could just punish. This is these people who clearly needed help, and who, I don't know what was their mental capacity and what they was going through at the time. It's not going to make the Luke family feel any better. It's not going to make us as a society feel any better. Nothing can bring back somebody, unfortunately. But the reality is that we can't be going through we can't stay in a society where it takes 10 and 15 and 20 years for justice, if you want to call that justice, to take its course. I mean, it's done. Gratefully, somebody is found guilty for it, because it's one of them things that just remain open since forever. You know the names of the others that remain open, but at least this one is done. And I mean, any comfort that we could lend to the family, because she, I mean, as a mother or as their family, they must be relived that whole thing over and over in having to deal with that trial. And spare thought as well. That's what I mean when I say the victim, the idea of victims is narrow. That these two youths, I don't think they could be sentenced to death because of the age at the time of the crime. But they have a lot of people in their families who did not do anything wrong, who didn't do anybody anything, who will be going through the ringer for the family for the last how much ever years, and they now get found guilty or convicted, or whatever is the right word I'm looking for. So I just think that we as a society, this is something that we have to fix. I don't know where to start fixing it, but as long as that justice system remains the way it is, we will always be fighting from behind, and we always behind the ball once that is the case. And that is all I have to say about that. All right, so here what, right? Salute to my guy QB up front. Because my guy reach out to me with some, every time you do an episode, you miss something, you make some mistake. You know me, I always making some kind of mistake in an episode. And I don't know how I could talk last week about Kiskity Caravan. And I make two huge mistakes. I want to clean up that. No. Number one, salute to Sheldon Shellshock Benjamin. I don't know how I could talk about Kiskity Caravan and not mention Shellshock nowhere in the episode. Is disrespectful at best. So salute to Shellshock for being one of the engines behind Kiskity Caravan and the producer who come out with a lot of the rhythms. And when you're talking about dance hall in Trinidad, he had to go down as one of the originators for building a lot of them beats or rhythm back in the day that men right. And the other big mistake I make is dealing with Kiskity Caravan, dealing with Trinidad dancehall, and only playing one General Grant. Disrespectful. So disrespectful.
You're live.
Yes.
Send me on a mission as a bantam. Send me on a mission as a mic magician. Send me on a mission as a bantam. Send me on a mission as a mic magician. I'm looking at the mic coming up, mic coming up, mic coming up, mic coming up. Watch out for me come out when the yacht call tongue. Jaja give me knowledge, Jaja give me wisdom. Tell them general come in not like what I want. Pure hate, look at them mocking normal. Pure hate, look at them mocking normal.
You think your shot call alone is about 100? You remember this?
Last week me get a phone call from my girlfriend named Karan.
Yes.
She want me to water the lawn.
Yes. Tell Stacey this for me too.
This come general. One time she sing again. Good walk a man in the morning. Good walk a man in the night. Circle. You man them a want some of the loving. Yes. Every day and night. She a go ball. Good walk a man in the morning. Good walk a man in the night. Hey, you man them a want satisfaction. Every day on.
In my part now.
Walk it vegetable, come walk it.
Walk it vegetable, come walk it. What the hell he say?
Walk the banana. I better walk up with the garlic.
Yes.
Take off with the fruit down in the market.
Yes.
Under the tree you can't walk it. Me a go walk the vegetable, me say well done proper. He tell me general stop it.
And in case you forget.
And you don't say pretty face.
Just in case you forget. Just in case you forget.
Too much gallery. But you know for them, not for them, not for them pretty. But you know, come and over for me, girl, and me back. Not for them, not for them, not for them pretty. Look up for me, love for me, girl, and me she is my chocolate. She have the time, damn it, my chocolate. And she love the granty for she. My chocolate, she have the time, damn it, my chocolate. And she love the granty, my chocolate. And she love me badly, my chocolate. She have the time, damn it, cabello. My chocolate, and she love the granty, my chocolate. And she good in her body. Me woman, Lord of mercy, crowd of people. Cause she look good and pretty. If she pretty, Lord of mercy. If be your misery, Lord of mercy could have failed with the can Harry. That a woman will me have, she a save me money. Every 2 weeks the woman, she a buy lottery. Sometimes markets, long-term mention celery. This a woman, she a want to cook rice and body.
No.
And I wish she is my chunkolos. Never every day of my life. She's my chunkolos. Must I make the woman for me wife. She is my chunkolos. My chunkolos, she is my chunkolos. She is my chunkolos. My chunkolos. My chunkolos. My chunkolos. My chunkolos.
And if you feel it was dance all alone, he do. I wonder if you remember this.
Now this is Carnival 2004. What? KMC, tell me general, the girls need some more. So I come and tell some of my friends them, all my male partners them, you know some more girls for me this Carnival. Some of the boys them go back because some of them fellas don't want no girl. Alright, so me get explain now. Well, hello want for tongue, mish this man. More girl for we, you want for tongue, I'm a go. More girl for we, you want to live in a rat race. More girl for we, you sing. More girl for we, more girl for me, you want to tongue, mish this man. More girl for we.
Listen, now this on dub plate. This getting men frightened up to today. You know, they wondering if I go pull out the dub plate. You know, but it's a grantee.
One time ago it was 20 to 1. From 20 to 1 it reached 30 to 1. 30 to 1 it reached 40 to 1. 40 to 1 it reached 50 to 1. 60
60 to 1, it reach 70 to 1, 80, 90,
Tell me to one.
So, number one, we must have a woman. Whether four, whether three, whether two, whether one, who want it.
Don't feel as though the soca started now.
Flash up on no lighter.
Don't feel as though it started now.
Drop on no Malta.
It started here, you know.
Drop on no Carib. And bubbles.
The soca make it ram ram. And then the soca make me. And then the soca make me. And then the soca make me.
All was the girl in the posse come make it jam jam. In a for the dancer, all road girl in the session come make it ram ram. Chew up on no Carib.
Yes.
In the village.
Everybody jam up in the party, whoa. Everybody jam up in the party. Everybody jam up in the party, whoa.
How you mean? Lord mercy, girl in our short pants and
Yes, ram ram. And then it's gonna make it jam jam. And then it's gonna make it ram ram. Booyaka.
This is nice calypso and
Hey, he used to like to say booyaka. Oh boy.
like vanilla. This is y'all them a wine like big timer. Lord of mercy, general limit. With the girl them in a ball, cause them a ball, them a shout, them a sing, them a come.
Everybody jam up in the party. Jam up in the party. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Keep calm. We ain't playing nothing yet, you know.
Ladies, forget your man for this is the party to
We
be
play
for
nothing
all
yet.
girls. Thank you.
Yes?
Right. Yes.
Just relax. Relax.
Now the order of extinction. I'm about to bring down the rude girl champion.
Who's that?
Better known as Mr. Jala, live in a life.
What?
So come boy. Susie in a jam down.
Why?
Looking for companion.
Why?
Dance on soca blasting. If you see she flexing.
Why?
So I decided to make a move. They must be mad
What?
to see if I could fall in a groove.
Fall in a groove, yes?
Me too. But that was my big mistake. Lord knows. Tell me. When I grab she from behind, she say,
Where she was?
this is a rude girl party. Tell me about. Just a rude girl party. It is a rude girl party. Yes, man. Just a rude girl party.
Where's it?
When I'm feeling high,
Hi.
I'm not feeling low.
Love.
Nothing in this world can stop me.
From losing control. It's just a rude girl party.
Oh, you know.
And there's a rude girl party.
It is a rude girl party. Just a rude girl party. Now come. This is the party.
Yes.
I'm making them follow me.
Yes.
Look at the girls, I'm making them bust up your smash shake.
Yes.
Because you know you have a fit fin body. And look at the girls you invite to this party.
Yes.
I'm making the dance. I gotta get up for me. Know that the G can they ever lively. They taking the girl to the rude girl party. So say everybody will agree with me. She say dance on soca.
Alright, Ajala, easy, Ajala. Everybody just relax. Everybody just. There's no way you're remembering them. Listen, and that was a song too, right? In the history of remix, right? I want to go down on the record as saying this is the baddest remix ever made in soca music in the history of soca. And General Grant on the remix. I wonder if you know what is the remix, boy. Is the greatest. I challenging anybody to show my remix. Not just remix, no? I open up that. Not just remix. Any combination between artists. You know, Marshall and Bungie come and do Busset. That was one of the most anticipated combination it had. I want you to show me any combination with soca artists that better than this.
Lotela, kubi lotela, lotela, kubi lotela, elote hoji, aga lote hoji,
Show me now.
Lote hoji lote, kubi lotela.
Tell me roll it. Tell me roll it.
Tell me, give me a little, roll it, Lotela.
Lotela, kubi lotela.
It have none. Come up with one for me now. Show me one more better.
Lotela, elote hoji, aga lote
Give me Lotela.
Tell me roll it. Tell me roll it. Tell me, give me a little, roll it, Lutila. Hey.
Buy your body, but I'd make girlie. Buy your body, but I'd make girlie.
Yes.
Buy your body, but I'd make girlie. Buy your body, but I'd make girlie.
I couldn't stop it without bringing in Saucy, right? Yes? What? What? Hey, let me tell you something. I want anybody could come and tell me what combination it have in soca music better than that. It is the baddest combination. Sunny Man, the great one. The great General Grant and the great Saucy Wow. Where you come up with something? Anybody who could come up with something, I have a running bet going. Well, they could find a better combination in dancehall for me overall. Alright, but I think we're done now. I think we cover everything for this episode. I just want to go back to it because it's one of them episodes. I you know me, I try my best not to come here and heavy up the whole nation and the whole scene. But when the nation heavy, it's heavy. And when we laughing together and we enjoying ourselves together and thing too. So sometimes we had a whole lot and shed our tear together too, yes. And this is just one of them times, boy. And it's almost like no matter how you try to escape it, like I say, I tried not to watch the video. I try, but these things is soak into the psyche of a nation. And it's nobody to blame this time. It's no crime or no nothing. It's just one of them things, boy. So one of the things I tell Oli and I promise Oli this, and it's in the making. So hold me to it coming, right? We are doing the conversations differently on a different podcast where I could just make that about the guests, because I don't want to get guests too involved here and then they end up getting mixed up in the culture and bacchanal and the kind of thing I want to talk about and that kind of thing. I want to give the guests this space so I could get to talk to people that can help other people. You know what I mean? Not just old talk. I want to make sure that while I'm old talking on this side, I want to do something progressive too, so we could learn something and benefit from people, as I've done before, and give more people a platform, you know what I mean? But you see, after this episode that happened here with these children, with the Burke family, I definitely getting somebody from health and safety on my list to come to me and talk about not just HSC from the standpoint of what happens in the business place, right? I want to talk to somebody who could help us with HSC when it comes to our household and our families. So, I mean, plenty of people is listening, you all know people, and saying, feel free to let me know who might be a good person to talk to. And I'm talking expertise in the area, right? I want somebody who could really give us pointers, because Mr. Bristow, who's the chief fire officer, was saying something so true, where we build our houses for security and we want to make sure that we're safe, you know what I mean? If you're leaving your children, some of us have older children and think you're leaving them home. One of the things, even if I walk in or I leave my son home, I be like, lock up the house, you know what I mean? Lock up everywhere. Don't open for no reason. That is really not good advice at all, now that you think about it, you know? So I want to get somebody who could come on and help us with those little things, because Mr. Bristow was saying simple things like your burglar proof. You're designed to keep people out, but you ought to have a way to get out if something happened. Like a fire is it could happen so fast and so scary. And when I look at the way my house designed, I had 2 doors. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about my security in the open like this. This is not good advice. But I have 2 doors that's so close together that if, God forbid, I have a fire there, you're not going to be able to access either door. None of my burglar proof and them care unlock. You know what I mean? I have no way to get out of my burglar. I'm saying this and I'm feeling the fear while I'm talking about it, honestly. So I don't have a plan in my house for what will happen if we have a fire. And I mean, it's not just fire, it's so many different types of, other natural disasters. I don't know what will happen. And it's so scary when you look at how real that story was Monday morning. And it could be any one of us. So it's such an unfortunate situation. So I definitely want to talk to somebody about that. And according to Mr. Britt, I'm going to look into this thing where I'm not sure how this works. Like if every room you're in, you should have some kind of a escape. Boy, listen, that is a real scary thing, boy. Don't care how you twist it, because even the people who were trying to help, you know what it is to see somebody trying and you're trying to help them. I can't do nothing, but I see a man trying to break down a door. That not easy, boy. So we had to figure out. He said, like, install smoke detectors in your house. I have never gotten fire extinguishers and them things. I'm gonna start looking into them things, because and more importantly than just having the things, run little safety drills. Salute to Gail Ayana Lieber Lewis. I saw her post that on Facebook today. I thought it was an important post for somebody to make, where she said, we don't just do safety drill and muster points and thing on the job. Like, we do that in work and take it for granted too. To have a sign they mark muster point there for a reason. But I don't know that my household have any plan if something was to shake down. If something happen, fire, whatever the disaster is. We don't really have a plan. So that's something I want to figure out, learn from somebody how to do that. And I'm going to be Googling it. Like I say, research, right? Look it up and figure out what's the best way to do it. And I encouraging all of us, let all of us do that now, boy, because I can't imagine. And I know you can't imagine it either. So if you haven't done those types of things, like, because we can't have an office without, like, little simple things. Our fire extinguishers that be checked every so often. People don't know where they are. You have to have somebody who have a safety plan and muster point, as I said. So why not do those things for our homes too? So that there's some... And I'm not saying that you could do the most amount of things. That's a sad thing. And by the way, Mr. Burke and the Burke family had to live with that. That ain't easy. Because it don't matter what you do, you will still blame yourself and things could still go left. You just never know. But at least we could take as much precaution as we could possibly take to make sure that that we minimize the chances of that, and we protect lives, boy, because like I say, we can't imagine, right? So I wanna before I get out of here, I wanna just leave 2 songs that we could use to pour out whatever we could pour out towards them. Any vibration or energy you could send towards them, it will be real. As I say in the beginning of the episode, I don't know if you pray, you meditate, if you're a God person, a universe type of person, but keep your family and your friends and your loved ones close. Love a stranger too, you know what I mean? Don't wait till a stranger house burning down to stretch out a hand and help them. And most importantly, send them prayers and them positive vibrations to the Burke family as much as you could, you know what I mean? It's a hard one to swallow, boy, but only will get through, you know what I mean? You have a whole nation with you, boy. This one isn't an easy one, but we had to send all the good vibes to them.
I'm sure that Jaja is for real. I'm sure he live for eternity. I'm sure he gonna set the captive free. I'm sure Jah live for eternity. I'm sure that Jah is my king. I'm sure Jah is my Lord. I'm sure He's my Savior. Yeah. I'm sure He's my Lord. It's not every day I wake up and I'm happy. It's not every day I'm sad, feel so sad. So when you believe in the gift of God glory, it never feels too bad. But I'm sure that Jaja is for me. I'm sure He set the captive free. I'm sure He live for eternity. I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure Jah went on Calvary. I'm sure He bring back wishes for you and me. I'm sure He's the one who gave life. I'm not sure in the fate of pastors, politicians or ministers. Neither your boss man, neither your fellow man. None of them want go wrong, yeah. But I'm sure
Yeah, we just sending out our prayer to the family, and we will keep them in our prayers as we go through the week. And I will talk to you all next week. Have a safe week, everybody. Listen, I always say that, and I do safety and thing, but listen, people, have a safe week. We will talk again next week.